What we know for sure is that the next president is going to face an array of, as I said, unprecedented short and long-term challenges. Just look at the short term first. Almost certainly a recession. Trying to unwind what has been a very unpopular 5-year war in Iraq, but still precarious situation. The war in Afghanistan is getting more intense, and the situation is worsening by the day. Dealing with an unstable nuclear Pakistan and an Iran which is pursuing, it sure seems like, pursuing a nuclear weapon at all costs, and against the background of a financial crisis and some long-term trends that any president and the whole country are going to have to address. You know, the intelligence community has a project called 2025, where they look out at the long-term trends facing the United States, and it's led by this man named Thomas Fingar, and it's fascinating and is the basis for the intelligence briefing they give to each candidate for president. Let me just summarize the 5 major findings of this project, and it'll show you the kind of tumultuous, turbulent situation the next president is going to face. Number 1, something we can't control is definitely going to continue. The process of globalization is going to continue, which means 2 different things. We will continue to see more wealth created, but we will also continue to see, as we've seen for the last decade, really since 1979, but it's intensifying, more inequality than ever before, within countries, across regions. And how we deal with that imbalance is going to be a critical question for any president. Number 2, we're going to face a world where the United States is not the only unrivaled superpower. You know, basically, ever since the fall of the Berlin Wall, we have been it. The only country that matches economic and military might in equal measure. That is changing. And not so much because our power is declining, although in some measures it is, but more because so many other countries are gaining in strength, particularly India and China. And that's going to be just a fundamental fact that we have to contend with, a more balanced world. Number 3, in that more balanced world, the international institutions that we set up after World War II and have persisted to the present day, we've seen it, are becoming increasingly ineffective. The UN basically was bypassed when we went into Iraq. It's bypassed when Russia goes into Georgia. It can't contend with an Iranian nuclear program. The World Trade Talks have basically fallen apart because each independent actor has much more of a stake in following their own path than in cooperating. That trend will continue. Number 4, climate change, just a fact. And you know, when the intelligence community looks at it, they say there's basically nothing we can do between now and 2030 that will prevent the changes that have already been built in to the system. The die is cast between now and 2030. And when they look at it, they say, you know, we're not going to see the monumental changes that will, you know, cause a government to fall or a country to collapse, but we are going to see real changes around the world. Water shortages, food shortages. We've seen some of this already in the last year. That will intensify. That will increase. And then you combine that with the 5th trend they see, which is a major demographic change across the West and beyond, in the United States, in Europe, in Japan, not the West, but kind of an honorary member of the West, but even in China now, you're seeing populations age. And by 2025, every worker in these major countries is going to have to support 3 retirees. That is a huge economic challenge. So you combine these long-term challenges with the pressing problems that the next president is going to face, and the next president is going to face an array of challenges unlike any that any president has seen probably since 1933, when Franklin Roosevelt came into power at the beginning, actually at the height of the Great Depression, and in the years leading up to World War II. It is a monumental challenge. I think it helps explain why we've had so much attention paid to this election, and I think it guarantees that we're all going to have to stay involved in the years to come.